Welcome back. So it's a show, right? Yeah, I don't remember the words. Okay. 40 Days of Love, day 8. Day 7, right? We're recapping day 7, prepping day 8. That's right. Yes. We are recapping day 7, prepping day 8. Now, I will say this because we are in the middle of a storm here. So if I freeze or if my internet goes out, I'm apologizing ahead of time. The winds are extremely high. And so I've been having some glitches. So I'm going to do my level best to make this quick to get through this. So for those of you who are joining me, let me know where you're joining from. We're prepping we're going to review day 7 and prep for day 8, which is tomorrow. And I think this is going to be a good one, right? Very good. Okay, how we doing? I know we talked last night and got a little bit heavy. Here's the deal. Hey, ma'am from Alabama. Some of us have real heavy stories, and that is just the way that it is. But God is still greater. God is bigger. Just dropped my pencil, and that was giving me some comfort. Okay, I got another one. God is still bigger. God is still greater. Hey, ma'am, how are y'all? He can do all the things that he needs to do for us. He can give us a calm spirit. He can give us a gentle spirit. Meek doesn't mean pushover. He can give us words that will not create or start a war. He can calm the quick returns or the quick comebacks. He can do all of those types of things. He can even renew the love that we once had for our spouse if we don't feel like we have it at the moment. He is so good like that. And I think because a lot of us have decided not to love our spouses anymore, that we think that God can't turn that thing around. God can turn around anything he wants. We think that the story is going to be this way, and God says, no, it's going to be this way. So if you submit your marriage to the Lord and you give him full rights to reign over it and in it and through it, he will. Now you have to understand that you are in a relationship with someone else. We cannot supersede their will. He'll never supersede their will. And so you have to come into agreement with what heaven says about your situation, because there is an express word about it. And that is just the truth. So thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Day number 7. This was the dare from yesterday. Well, from today. Your dare for today was to get 2 sheets of paper. On the first one, spend a few minutes writing positive things about your spouse. And on the second sheet of paper, you wrote negative things, all the things you hate, all the things you can't stand, all the things that make you irritable, all the things that you really wish they would change or that you could change about them. Because remember, yesterday was about the appreciation and the depreciation room. And we spend time in both of them. But we tend to spend more time in the depreciation room, taking away from our spouse, beating them down with our words, not maybe necessarily, we're saying this to them, but in our mind, we're rehearsing all of their faults, all of their missteps, all of the mishaps, everything they didn't do, every promise they never kept. We rehearsed all of that. And that keeps us in the depreciation room. You're never going depreciate means to take away. Appreciate means to add to. Are you an asset or are you a liability? Thank you, Holy Spirit. You have to ask yourself that in your marriage. Are you an asset or a liability? You want your spouse to be all the things, but are you those things that you want your spouse to be? Because if the answer is no, then how dare we have an expectation that they can be something that we can't be ourselves? Aren't we supposed to be getting a person that you can run parallel with in life? Like, I'm doing life with you. I want to do life with you. And the person who is doing life with you should be able to keep up with the life you're doing, right? Oh, good. Very good. Absolutely. And that was just as valuable. That was just as valuable. Carla said her husband was sick today, and she had extra time to do this assignment, but God said, hey, take care of your husband. That was very good. So I love that. And then Yolanda says we can't expect something that we're not, but we do it all the time. We do it all the time. We put such a high expectation on our spouse, and we never expect anything out of ourselves. We just don't. Or when we do, it's not equal to what we expect out of them. Because again, in our mind, we live on Perfect Avenue. I live on Perfection Avenue. I live on I don't do nothing wrong Boulevard, right? That's where we live. But that's not the truth of our situation for real. It's really not. Okay. So how many of us did our assignment? And did you have more negatives than positive? Did anybody have any more positive than negatives? There are multiple times when we can think of all the negative things that people do to us, said about us, all the things. Okay. All right. We're moving into day 8 because I want to make sure that my internet does what it's supposed to do. Father, keep the internet up in Jesus' name. Day 8, this is an allowing day, right? So remember, you have affection, you have allowing. I wrote them all down because I wanted to have them. I wrote them on my sheet, and I wrote down all the scriptures too. Oh, very good, Yolanda. We have acceptance, we have affirmation, we have allowing, we have affection, we have apology, we have abide, and we have attention. So today or tomorrow, day 8 is an allowing day. And it says, love is not jealous. Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 6 in the NIV says, love is as strong as death. Its jealousy unyielding as the grave. It burns like a blazing fire. Just reading through the chapter. Oh, very good. Very nice. I'm glad. 2 ladies said more positives. That's good. Jealousy is one of the strongest drives known to man. It comes from the root word zeal, which means to burn with intense fire. The scripture pointedly says, wrath is fierce and anger is a flood, but who can stand before jealousy, according to Proverbs 27:4. Now, here's the thing. Most of us would say, we would argue somebody down into the ground to say, I don't compete with my spouse. But there are some spouses who compete against each other. You've heard the saying, an alpha male needs an alpha female. But sometimes the alphas, because they are driver, because they are go-getters, because they are always after it, sometimes they don't know how to step back and be an omega, which is lower than the alpha. It doesn't mean you're lower than them in any type of standing, but I look at that as esteeming somebody else higher than myself, right? And sometimes those personalities compete with each other. He got a promotion at work. You working hard to get a promotion at work. That just means that you're not as available as you used to be, and you working 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. And now you're not doing the things that you were doing at home that you used to do, even though you were an alpha female, because you're trying to be just as good as him. Right? Okay. There are 2 forms of jealousy. You have legitimate jealousy, which is based on love, and you have illegitimate jealousy, which is based on envy. Legitimate jealousy sparks when someone you love who belongs to you turns his or her heart away and replaces you with something else. That is very legitimate. When they used to be team you and now they team football. All they want to do, or they go to work all the time, and you really find out that there's some other stuff. You being replaced with other things. Wonder why when we used to be thick as thieves, now we ain't never together. Except when you want to be intimate with me. Why you only over here for intimacy reasons? I need you to make love to my mind. I need you to be up here with me. But I can't even get you in that. So now I want to know what has grabbed your attention. And I'm having a jealous moment about that. And that's legitimate. But then he talks about illegitimate. Let me read. Let me go back. So she says, if a wife has an affair and gives herself to another person, her husband may be justified jealous anger because of his love for her. He is longing to have back what is rightfully his. And that's why I was thinking more of the affair. Something has grabbed your attention. The attention I used to grab and keep and hold. Now something else has grabbed that attention. Where is it and what is it? So have y'all ever seen Why Did I Get Married? It was a Tyler Perry movie. He wasn't playing the character Medea, but he was married in this movie to a woman, and it was called Why Did I Get Married? I think this was Why Did I Get Married 2. This was the second one. And there's one scene where him and his wife, they were in their bedroom, and he just knew something was wrong. He just knew something was wrong. And she was going and put on her little natty thing and, about to think something was fixing to go on with married people that married people do. And he was like, wait a minute, something is not right here. And she's like, but what? It's nothing. Oh, things are great. And he's like, no. Something is wrong with you. He said, because on this day, he knew the day, he knew the time that his wife came home and rocked his total world. And he said to her, when you were with me, were you thinking about him? There was a man in her office that had captured her attention. She's like, but nothing happened between us. He just is funny and we like some of the same things and blah, 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 trick of the enemy. And he was like, he said, I knew something was wrong. He had a right, so to speak, to be jealous over that, because that's my wife. How is it that another man can send her flowers only, and now she is feeling like she on top of the world? What exactly is that? So he says the Bible describes God as having this kind of righteous jealousy for his people. He gets jealous over us when other things have grabbed our attention. Some of us live very distracted lives. We give him whatever time we have left. If we have any time, it's always an excuse. I'll get to my devotionals tomorrow. I'll get up early in the morning. Tomorrow's a better day. The kids will be at school. We have all the things, and then it never happens. So he feels that towards us. Like, my people don't even love me. What is going on? I've done all of this for them, and they don't have any time for me. What is this? Okay. Let me go to, he says, with this concept established, we will now shift our focus to the illegitimate kind of jealousy that stands in opposition to love. So illegitimate jealousy is opposite of love. There's a righteous jealousy and there is an illegitimate jealousy. This one is rooted in selfishness. This is to be jealous of someone, to be moved with envy. Do you have envy over other people? I wish my marriage was like hers. I wish my husband did the same stuff that her husband did. I wish my husband would buy me this. I wish, because I want something that somebody else has, not knowing what they had to do to get it or what they got to do to keep it. That's the problem I see with somebody else trying to have somebody else's life. You don't know what they did to get it, and you don't know what they have to do to keep it. Now, there are some legitimately happy couples, and I thank God for them. I've always been very cautious that people never take this out of context, what I'm about to say. I love to see a man with a wedding ring on. Not because I have any designs on that man. I love marriage. I love the institution of marriage. And when I see a married man, I say, Lord, I hope he loves his wife. God bless him to just love his wife. Or if I see a married woman, I say, God, I thank you for their union. I'm always praying for marriages. I don't say it to them. I just be like, oh, God, I thank you so much for these marriages. And I pray that they are strong. I just love the institution of marriage. I don't want yours. I don't want anybody else's marriage. I'm writing my own story. Well, The Lord is writing my story over here. Remember, I said, I'm going to be in love and on my honeymoon forever, forever. From the I do's to the we did. I'm me. That's me. I don't want anything anybody else has. He says, it has been said that people will celebrate your level of success as long as it doesn't exceed theirs. Again, there's that competition. I'm going to celebrate you as long as you don't do greater things than I've done, right? Now, I have had to deal with myself in those areas, but here's how I deal with it. If you need something and I have the ability to give it, if we're in covenant relationship, if you're my sister, family, relatives, whatever, if I know you like that, if you need something, instead of me keeping it for myself, it's not doing me any good. I'll sow into somebody else just so I don't suffer from jealousy. God, I don't want that thing so much that I'm not going to give it to somebody else who can do the next greatest thing. There's a girl who always does the formatting for my books. She is excellent. If you need somebody to format a book, hit me up. I could tell you all the things. She is excellent. But if I were selfish, I'd be like, I'm not fixing to give her name and number to nobody. She just gonna work on Shakima stuff. But I want to see her win. She's an author as well. Excellent author. She writes under several pen names. She's also a recording artist. She sings under a different pen name. But every time I know somebody's needing to write a book, I'm like, hey, I got a resource. Hey, I got something for you. I'm not going to be accused of being jealous of anybody's anything. I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader. Have we ever thought about that? Are you your spouse's biggest cheerleader? I tell my ladies all the time, Superman only became Superman when Lois Lane was in trouble. Clark Kent was content to be Clark Kent until Lois Lane got in some type of mischief, some type of bother. And then he was like, let me go save my woman. It's the woman who puts that S on your husband's chest. It's up to you to make him Superman. You got to be team him regardless of what is going on. That doesn't mean we have to support wrong. I'm never saying that. But there are some men who need the encouragement of a woman to be their best selves. You have heard that. We've heard that. I wasn't even my full self until I met my wife. I didn't even reach my full potential until I met my wife. Man, when I met my wife, we started working together, and the next thing you know, we blew up. You know what I'm saying? It is up to the woman. It's up to us. He needs to be team you as well. I'm just talking from my perspective. I need to be the person. No woman should cheer louder for my husband than me because she will capture his attention. The one who screams the loudest, isn't it the squeaky wheel that gets the oil or the grease? Yes, it is. So if anybody out screams you where your husband is concerned, you should, or wife is concerned, you should already expect that their attention has been changed. They have now been focused over here. He said, jealousy is a common struggle. It is sparked when someone else upstages you or gets something that you want. Are we out here upstaging our spouses, or is his win my win? Is my win his win? In all that I am and all that I have, give out unto you until death do us part. The good, the bad, rich and poor, sick and health, all the things. Everything I got, you got. So if I get a promotion, didn't we get a promotion? I think sometimes I find that people, especially in this day and age, people are very different because we got different checking accounts. We got different spending accounts. You got your account. I got my account. We never going to join stuff together. So then it does appear that he has his money and you have your money. I remember being married and my husband would say to me at the time, I don't want to spend your money. If I would have, if he needed something and I had gotten paid or a bonus or whatever the case was, he's like, I don't want to spend your money. And I would say to him, this is our money. When has it ever been my money? This is us. We are together. I'm never going to compete with you. If anything, my job is to complement what you're doing, right? Okay. If you're not careful, jealousy slithers in like a viper. And I'm on page 37. If you're following along in your book, just reading and then expounding. If you're not careful, if I'm not careful, if he's not careful, jealousy slithers like a viper into your heart and strikes your motivations and relationships. It can poison you from living the life of love God intended. I remember being told that I shouldn't marry a preacher because we were going to compete with each other. If he was a preacher and I'm a preacher, and then we're going to try to out-preach each other. But here's what I know about my preaching. I can preach to everybody. I've got a word for anybody. But my ministry is specific to women. So unless my husband has a ministry specific to women, then I'm going to fulfill that part of the ministry that he wouldn't necessarily feel. Okay, so here's a question. Yolanda says, so when you say make him feel like Superman, what does that look like? That's celebrating every single win that person has. Whatever type of way. I mean, you shouting it out on social media, you putting up banners around your house. If he buys you something, right? If he buys you something, even if you don't love it, you wear it anyway because he bought it. Now, you may have to help him figure out how to wardrobe you, but if he spent his hard-earned coins to get you something, Miss Wanda tells this story quite often, how Mr. Sodi would ask her sometimes, hey, Wanda, you want to ride with me to the dump? Miss Wanda does not want to go to the dump with Mr. Sodi. But she said, Shakima, I started thinking about something you said. This is not for me. This is for him. And every time he has asked her to go, she has jumped in that vehicle with him. She has gotten in that truck and she has rode out to the dump with her man. That man is like, she don't never like to go to the dump with me. Okay. I'm at the dump with my woman. You know what I'm saying? That man feels proud to be your husband. He feels proud to have you on his arm. I know that some of us have had children and our bodies haven't, snapped back. We don't look like we weren't born with Spanx. We got the battles. Okay, I get that. But if your husband or wife cares about personal appearance or health, and you're not in the best health, could you not spend a few minutes every day, 20 minutes, get a little walk in here or there and work on your health? And you lose a couple pounds or 3. And the next thing you know, his chest is out. You're like, oh, then he checking the seat. He's like, oh, I better get in the gym. You know what I'm saying? It's that thing that makes him, that's my wife. If you know you have issues, if you have smaller children and you have issues with your children and discipline, and your husband is afraid to go places with you because your children may not behave well, and so now you work with your children so that when you do go places, they behave well. And instead of him having to hold his head down because his kids don't act right, he's like, oh, look at my children. They add up to chin. That's putting that S on his chest. That's appreciating the things that he do. Babe, thank you so much for working that extra shift. You really don't know how much that meant to the finances this week. Or if you know he's struggling to do the bills, you don't go out with the girls and spend the extra. Perhaps invite the girls over because you still want that fellowship, but I can't spend these $40. So we just go, everybody bring something. We're going to do charcuterie board party, charcuterie, and y'all go to Aldi and, spend your little $10, $12 and get you a little something. That is the things that swell him up, that make him have pride, not pride that puffs up and is, I am the man, hear me roar, but proud to be with you, proud to be the leader of your home, proud to be the father of your children, proud to be the husband of you. Those types of things is what I mean. Always supporting him. Yeah, babe, I know that didn't work out this time, but we're going to get them next time. You always in his ear with that goodness. You always whispering sweet somethings in his ear. We used to, when we were growing up, we were like, he whispering sweet nothings in your ear. I don't tell me nothing. Tell me something. Whisper them sweet somethings in his ear when he is down and things aren't going the way that they should go. Babe, I have every confidence in you that you're going to pull us out of this place. Don't you worry. Whatever you need from me. And that man, he stands up a little bit taller when he knows you're not ashamed of him, when he knows that decision didn't turn your affections away from him, when he knows that even though he didn't do what was, what you thought he should have did, you're not going to withhold your loving from him, because maybe that's what he needs in that moment. Child, when you rocking that world, okay. I mean, for real though. He gonna be like, what is going on here, ma'am? Y'all pray for me. Oh, I can't wait to get married. And you're welcome. Okay. Let me see. I'm gonna go to the dare. Oh, I like this one. He says, when you're married, this is at the bottom of 37. When you're married, you were given the role of becoming your spouse's biggest cheerleader and the captain of his or her fan club. Both of you have become one in life and were to share in the enjoyment of the other. But if selfishness rules, any good thing happening to only one of you can be a catalyst for envy rather than congratulations. And I put in here, be very careful. Be very careful that you look at the celebration of your spouse as a direct attack against you. You may not have any wins, but here's the thing. Every win I have, you have. Every win you have, I have. And the two shall become one. We have to stop looking at ourselves as individuals in our marriage. We are now one person. So everything you face, I face. Every time you win, I win. Every time we go up, I go up. It's us or it ain't nothing. It's never you against me. It's us against the world. And those are the things you got to begin to say to your spouse, because sometimes they don't know it. And if we have, especially if you create wars with your words, that's what they know. They know you're not proud of them. They know that you wish they would have done it differently. They know that you have all the answers because you do everything right and you're little Miss Perfection. Of course they know. But that's when you have to come in and you have to start saying, babe, don't worry, shake that off. We good. Don't worry, we good this week. Yeah, he's like, I really wanted to be able, don't worry about that. I don't need nothing. I got you. Man, we done went to the bathroom because he need a moment alone. She said she got me. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to go over here to the dare. Today's or tomorrow's dare for day 8. Determined to become your spouse's biggest fan and to reject any thoughts of jealousy. To help you set your heart on your spouse and focus on their achievements. That's what it's all about. Look at all the things they have done. Because here's the deal. In the 20 plus years, in the 20 months, in the 20 minutes y'all been together, a man somewhere has left his wife and children, and your spouse has stuck it out. He didn't leave when he could have left. You cheated on him with his best friend, and he knows about it, and he didn't leave. Lost your job, walked out on a job, said you wasn't gonna work no more because he was the husband, and y'all y'all are just struggling, and he's still there. That is an achievement. Okay, so Linda Oki said, questions are your children? No, ma'am. My children are not my children. I have older adult children, 33, 27, 19, and 14. So I'm one child away from empty nest. But when I went through my divorce, my children were 4 months, 5, 13, and 19. So I've been separated and divorced now 14 years. Okay, determined to become your spouse's biggest fan and reject any thoughts of jealousy. To help you set your heart on your spouse and focus on their achievements, take yesterday's list of negative attributes and discreetly burn the list. Then share with your spouse how glad you are about a success or blessing he or she recently enjoyed. When you've done that there, check it off. You have a small space for any reflection that you need to do there. Any questions before I chime out? Jealousy is a bad one. And whether we know it or not, we can be jealous of our spouse. There is no need to be. It's not necessary, but sometimes things slip in. When you are not the keeper of the gate, when you do not keep your mind in check, when you listen to everything, watch everything, especially social media, and you seeing all these couples and they doing this and they doing that, and you don't know why your husband doesn't do this and that for you. One of the things that social media people don't tell you is we stage all of our content. All content is staged some type of way. We got to have the lighting just right. We got to have this just right. We got to pick the right song. We got to wear the right outfit. We got to make sure the makeup is done. I watched one. I don't even know the husband's name. He's like Puerto Rican and his wife is like from African. And he said, babe, how come you only wear makeup when we're doing a YouTube short? She said, babe, because I have to look good for the people. So he's like, no other time are you getting dressed. You don't want to look good for me. You just doing this for YouTube. And she's like, yeah, what else do you think? Right? So that stuff is staged. You know your husband is coming home every day. You know that your husband is going to do everything he can to make sure you have what you need. You know your husband is going to take care of those babies. Not everybody know that. Do my children have children? No, ma'am. I do not have grandchildren. I have 2 grandsons. They are dogs. But I'm very specific, and I'll tell you why. Most people may not like me after this, but that is perfectly fine. I told my older children when they were younger, if they bring a baby home and they are not married, they are going to live at the baby daddy's house, because I am not going to be up rocking and shaking your baby at 3 a.m. while somebody's son is getting all of his sleep at his house. The only way you are permitted to have children is if you have a spouse. And none of my children are married, and they do not have children. But my daughter is getting married. My oldest daughter is getting married in May. And her little eggs are over there just percolating. Perk, perk, perk. So there could be some grandbabies coming, but she's 33 years old. She's lived her best life. Now they're grown. They don't have to listen to me any further about that. But that was the rule when they lived in this house. Don't bring a baby up in here, because I am not playing with you. And I had my children when I was very young, so I didn't want that for them. So I'm not talking bad about anybody that has children young. I'm not talking about anybody that have children out of wedlock. All of that, same. But I didn't want them problems for my children. Anybody else? Anything for the good of the cause? Anything else for the good of the cause? Okay, I do hope that this is being helpful. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate. I'm not everybody's favorite, but those who love me, and those who like me, and those who don't, oh well. I've learned how to be delivered from people's opinions most days of the week. I try to do my best for people. I try to do my best for my children. I tried to do my best for my husband when I was married. Towards the end of the marriage, the first bit was not the best. I was better at the end, but it wasn't enough soon enough. Right. So that's why I do this, because I don't want anybody to experience what I experienced. I probably gave it my best effort too late. And if you can stop it now and change things, change the trajectory of your marriage, then that's what I'm here for. I'm here to see you turn this thing around, if that's what you both so choose. At the end of the 40 days, some of you may not choose it. Some of you don't choose it at day 8. But we still going to keep on keeping on for those who do. Anywho, I love you guys. I've been going at it all day. And so now I'm going to go and sit and take my scriptures that I got from my assessment. And I'm just going to write those scriptures out so that I can go back and just read those scriptures daily, just to keep it always in front of my eyes. You all know where I am if you need me. Thank you so much. Please like the video, share it if you feel like somebody else would get something good from it. Share all the days we have up through day 8 now. You can share those. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed on YouTube. We would appreciate that. We do want to thank you all so much for stopping by, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Bye now. Bye, y'all. See you tomorrow.